getting you all the corporate reactions right here at the World Economic Forum, and Devansh Jain with us, Executive Director at INOXGFL. Devansh.
Hi, good evening, Tamanna.
Wow, what a laundry list to go through after Trump's speech. But he kept talking about the green scam. As someone who works in clean energy, what was your reaction?
Look, I don't know if people know this fact. In the previous Trump administration, you had more investments in renewables than you've had in any other administration. And even currently, the amount of investments we're seeing in solar and to some extent wind is phenomenal. Of course, we've got a sunset date now. But it's a bit of, it was kind of like a comic show. It was very humorous, talking about Chinese making turbines and selling it to people, fooling them by selling turbines. I thought it was just too funny, but
as someone who makes wind turbines.
Absolutely. President Trump speaks with such conviction that honestly, whatever he says, I think most people end up believing it, or then you're on the other half who just don't believe anything he says.
As an Indian corporate, how worried are you about what's happening geopolitically? Because, as a corporate entity, you have so many things to look at, your market share, strategy, growth, etc., etc. And then you add this element of uncertainty in a very large market that's impacting the world. How do you navigate that?
Look, I think it's a tough period. Global volatility is probably at an all-time high. But I think for us at INOXGFL, it's also throwing up unique opportunities. Why I say that is the US-China equation. You've now got India plus one or China plus one actually playing out, where we've really moved in on our battery chemical business in the US. We're looking at acquisitions on the solar side in the US because the Chinese need to exit. So it's two sides of the coin. We're really looking at more opportunities to scale up our operations in the US. But yes.
You're not worried about pushback in the US?
So we're making in America for America. Yeah. We're also making certain chemicals which can't be made in the US. China was the only supply chain and Chinese are out. So where else do you get them from? So we now got large agreements with some of the largest guys in the US. But yes, on a more macro perspective, so much volatility, tariffs, these painful announcements on a daily basis of 25%, 10%, banning supply chains. It's not good. It's not healthy for the world economy.
In that context, ahead of the budget, what would you as industry hope to see from the government in terms of messaging?
Look, I think two things. One, the government is under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Modi has been very stable policies, very clear directions. And we hope and we expect them to continue doing that across sectors, across industries. But two specific areas where I would expect some action from the Finance Minister would be around more communication around their energy transition play. I think we need some sort of domestic protection across some battery storage, maybe accelerated depreciation to some extent, to accelerate investments. Second, I think in terms of LTCG, long-term capital gains tax, I think we need to fix that because you've got a few sovereign funds who are getting that benefit, but a lot of money is going out of India. And in this volatile environment globally, where people are going to safe havens, I think India needs to get more FDI in. And I think we can easily do that by fixing our LTCG policy.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.